is Ed Hitchens with energeticcity.ca, and this is the Community Roundup brought to you by Brad's Furniture and Appliances. We are joined here today by professional bull rider Jake Gardner, who just recently won the BBR Canada Elite Cup Series event in Red Deer on February 3rd. Jake, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Okay, no, it's a pleasure to have you. One thing I didn't mention when we spoke earlier was the fact that I always admired the ruggedness, the toughness of professional bull riders. I've seen it live a couple times, and I always thought to myself, whoever does this must really love the rough and tumble things. But for somebody who doesn't know, what is that adrenaline rush like? Because I remember when you spoke earlier, you did mention that it's one of the biggest adrenaline rushes you'll ever have. So could you go into that a little bit?
Well, yeah, I feel like anyone who does extreme sports, whether it's motocross, UFC, it's the feeling you get. It's hard to describe, but it's a euphoric feeling. You just feel like you conquered the world. You feel unbeatable. I don't know. It makes you keep coming back, and it's kept me addicted to the sport. And I just crave it.
Okay, so you described 2023 as one of your best years so far, if not your best year. Why do you think that is?
I just think I've matured with the sport a lot, and my goal is to get a Canadian bull riding title, and I feel like this last year was the closest I've came to it. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting better and better as I get older, and I just am reaching for the stars, I guess, trying to get better and better.
Okay, I noticed here that you've gone from a 93rd in 2020 in the PBR rankings up to like a 39th, 36th, excuse me, is your current ranking. You just keep climbing that ladder. I mean, what would you like to do as you go forward in your career?
Yeah, so I feel like them PBR rankings. I haven't really focused on the PBR that much. I like to go to the bigger events and get points and money because it's a great opportunity. But I kind of focus more on the rodeo end of things. So that's CPRA and PRCA in the States, and then I work in some PBR Canada events. I think last year I made it to about 15 of them, and it went good. But the rodeo side of things went pretty good, and I mean, ultimately, my main goal is to make it to the national finals rodeo in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's in December, and I'd also like to make the PBR World Finals. That's in Dallas, Texas, and that's in June.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the rough and tumble nature of the sport requires, like any other thing, proper training, proper nutrition. As sports have evolved, as sports medicine has evolved, how do you prepare for an event before you actually get to the event?
So whenever we have days off, I feel like every bull rider's different. I try and treat it like a professional sport, and I like to do a lot of training during the week. So I got a trainer in Calgary. It's called Acumen Performance. Brandon Thomey. He's our lead sports medicine guy in Canada. He works there well with some really good trainers. So like today I went in there, and I'm a little bit sore after last weekend, but I want to get my body back working and flexible and limber because I got another big event this weekend. So I just went in there, and I told him, I was like, hey, I'd like to get worked on a little bit of massage work, and then I'd like to do a nice light workout. The trainer put me through that, and yeah, so I'm feeling good today, and then tomorrow I'm going to try and go get on some more bucking bulls just as practice. They're kind of slower, a little bit easier to ride, and they just kind of help a guy get ready and get ready for the rank ones that I got to get on this weekend.
You mentioned bucking bulls. The bull that you rode in the Canadian Championship last year. Like any other sport, I think chemistry is probably key. Do you share that kind of chemistry with the animals as you get on them? Are you used to some bulls and not others?
Yeah, I feel like, being a cowboy, you respect the animals that you're using. They're a vital part in our success. So, I like, for me, I respect these bucking bulls. They are animal athletes, and the bloodlines have come like a long ways here in the last 10 to 20 years. And yeah, they play a big part. And if you get matched up with the right one and get in sync with them, you get a big score. And half the score is marked on the bull and half the score is the riders. So yeah, they're a huge part in it, and getting a good one's vital.
Okay, so I mentioned this, like I said earlier, sports have evolved, and bull riding is no exception. Days gone by in the 80s and the 90s, it was but you're very much scarce, and it was just left up to fate to see if you got injured or not. But nowadays you see guys wearing those hockey style helmets, you see guys wearing those chest protectors and things like that. How do you as a rider stay safe on those bulls? Because it can be very dangerous.
Yeah, I feel like in the last 40 years, the sport's come a long ways. As far as the buck and bulls, they have got really rank. And so, I mean, in order to stay on top of it, and I think stay healthy is putting in the work during the week, getting in the gym, staying flexible, staying limber, doing all that stuff to prepare. But also, like 40 years ago, they didn't use vests or helmets. And so, a few tragic accidents, you learn your lessons the hard way. Some other bull riders made a flak jacket vest, and as the sport progressed, guys started wearing helmets. And yeah, so there's some safety gear that helps prevent some serious injuries nowadays, and definitely grateful for that. I like using a helmet, protect my brain, and definitely that vest helps. I mean, you still get stepped on with that vest, it hurts, but not as bad.
Okay, so as you mentioned, the PBR World Finals are in Dallas later on this year, even National Rodeo Finals. What is your ultimate goal in this sport as your career goes forward?
I feel like anyone that's in any sport, the end goal is to be a world champion. And if I could become a world champion in either one of those, the PBR or the PRCA, it would be a dream come true. And I'd really like to win a Canadian professional rodeo bull riding championship as well. And so that's kind of those are the highest goals. And I feel like in order to get successful, you got to set your goals super high and have high expectations for yourself.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Jake, thank you very much for the time. This is Edward Hitchens once again with energeticcity.ca. This has been the Community Roundup brought to you by Brad's Furniture and Appliances.
Thank you.